Did you know that an NFL player can get tested a max of 6 times in one season for drugs, while an NBA player, the max is 4? All in all, there are sports all around the world, and with sports comes many professional athletes, whether it's baseball, football, golf, basketball, you name it. And all these players have to at least get tested 1 time per season. Having all these players all around the world drug tested is super beneficial, as it keeps our players safe and and keeps the game fair, no matter what sport you're in. First of all, we would still need to drug test players to keep the integrity of the sport. Most of the drugs that are being tested for these sports are performance enhancing drugs such like steroids, which gets players bigger, stronger, faster, and just able to be better than another player just by doing drugs. And it gives them that competitive edge to where it's not really the right way to do it. Getting the competitive edge means you go out every day, you work hard, you train, you lift weights, you perfect your craft like you've been doing your whole life. So why should that be taken away by someone just using a drug and taking the easy way out? Scottsdale Recovery article talks about a story. The story involves the 1998 Major League Baseball season and involves 2 players under the names of Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa. Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa are 2 of the best hitters in the league this year, and they are fighting to see who could hit the most home runs this year. At the end of the year, Mark McGwire ends up hitting 70 home runs, while Sammy Sosa only hits 66. Mark McGwire went on to win the batting title, Hall of Fame, awards after awards. Well, in 2010 comes out that he's been using steroids this whole time. Now there's a controversy on if all these awards should be ripped from him. Do we still let him keep it? So there's all these things going around on Mark McGwire, and who knows if they'll ever be solved. Next is keeping the safety of the players in all these drugs. So these drugs, they do give the benefits in, let's say, strength, speed, muscle, but there's always a backside to it, the side effects. Some of these side effects are while you're taking it, and some of these side effects will go on many, many years, even though you're not even taking it. Tammy Cohen states in her article that one major concern are the health risks. Horror stories of players getting into roid rage and suffering horrible long-term side effects are well known. So people that take these drugs and take these steroids know what they're getting into. They know about the side effects and they don't care. They are allowed themselves to live with the consequences, and it's sad to see that these players have these long-term side effects which they didn't need to have. However, some people argue that there is a line drawn between technology and performance enhancement drugs. So technology is always advancing, and if you look at any sport 10 years ago to now, it's not played the same way. It's not, people don't approach it the same way. They don't interact the same way. It's all different because technology is always advancing. So people always see like, oh, if we're getting new equipment, why can't we just take this drug, which is not the same. But there's a podcast of All the Smoke. It's with 2 retired NBA players, Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson, and they're on a podcast with Al Harrington, and they talk about their career and how cannabis helped them recover, helped them pain relief. And Al Harrington said, my knee's swollen, it has so much liquid in it, no doctor, no medication would help me except cannabis. And it was hard to use it because it was against the rules, yet it was the only thing that was making him play. So it's crazy to think that some of these drugs are bad, yet they're beneficial to these players. However, this doesn't keep the sportsmanship of the game. You know, using these drugs and using these performance enhancements are against the game and they don't keep the integrity of the game, and you lose respect to yourself, to players, to anyone who's a fan of the sport. You just lose respect for any of them and they don't respect you anymore. Matthew Minnen's article, he states, some substances and training techniques are not considered unfair advantages, such as creatine and vitamins, which help you get stronger and get faster. Yet, even though these professional athletes are given these substances to use, they choose to go to steroids, which doesn't help them in the end, because no matter what test you do, there's always some way that you're going to get caught. In conclusion, drugs have been involved in sports for a while, and you always hear of some athlete testing positive and getting a suspension, such as Josh Gordon in the NFL. You've heard of Barry Bonds, Alex Rodriguez, and the list goes on, Lance Armstrong. There's always people, professional athletes, that just don't cut it. They always test positive, and these are kids' heroes, and to hear your hero be drug tested positive, it's like, why did I look up to you now? Being a professional athlete is a major responsibility, as a lot of kids look up to you, and it's a job career. And people living their career jobs in a company, they all have to take drug tests. So why shouldn't professional athletes have to take these drug tests? Thank you.